Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So I'm working more on the peacock's chest and into where it's becoming his wing. I will point out I do not start at 0 because I had technical difficulties. I sat down and I made a video for you all, and then for some reason one of my files got corrupted and will not work. And yeah, so I'm plenty annoyed about it, that is for sure. But here we go again. So like I say, I don't remember what I talked about last time versus the time before. If I repeat myself, sorry. Yeah, I just unfortunately ended up with some unusable footage. And yeah, I figure it doesn't work if you can't see the pattern as I'm working from it. And that was the file that got corrupted. So yeah, so we're starting at 229. So yeah, if I have an amazingly impressive number by the end, I did not put that all up in 1 hour. Oh yeah, unfortunately, sort of 2 or 3 times a year this happens. Just something does not want to work right, and it so fortunately, like I say, I wasn't making a big tutorial or anything like that. So yeah, the problem was when I went to stop my screen capture on my tablet, it acted as if I was starting a new one rather than stopping the current one. And I guess that's why the file got corrupted like that and just wouldn't work anymore. So yeah. A little annoyed, but what can you do, right? Can't go back in time and fix it, so I'll just make another one. Oh dear. So I am once again going to be doing a little bit out of order because this bright blue here kind of goes out basically 45-degree angle where it turns into the white part of his wing. And rather than going across it in my normal direction, I'm just going to follow it. Like I say, it closes in a little bit, but if there's a tension line sort of right there where the color changes, well, you're not really going to be able to see it very easily because the color changes right there kind of disguises it. Plus, like, I haven't had any problems with tension lines before, but you never know. Because yeah, if I cut across sort of a big block of color, there is, oh, look at that, what a mess. This stupid thing got a knot in it. Oh, I tell you, not the most auspicious beginning here. I may just tie this one off because of this ruddy knot. Oh, what else will happen today, hey? Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. Jinx myself, right? Oh, that is so irritating. Can I pin stitch it with this knot in here or not? Yeah, okay, it's small enough that I could. Sometimes I kind of keep stitching it when there's a tiny little knot in it like that, but as it was disturbing the stitches already done, instead, I'm going to cut that out of the thread and just restart the thread again. Very annoying. So yeah, neck was hurting me again. I had to miss some stitching time the last couple days because of it. So yes, I have made a follow-up appointment. I'm going to go in for some more treatments in a couple of weeks. It's feeling a lot better today, thankfully. And yeah, like I should have done this a month or 2 ago, but I'm really bad at caring for myself. So I can cross my fingers that somebody will cancel and I'll get in earlier, because that's what happened last time when I first began treatments. Yeah, I was going to have to wait for like a month, and then they called me like the next day and was like, we have a cancellation, can you come in tomorrow? I'm like, yep, I'm there. So yeah, my husband went after nothing else worked for back injury after a car accident, and that was like 14 years ago, and he hasn't had to go in since after he had 3 treatments. But as mine is related to a chronic issue, yeah, I'm guessing I'm probably going to have to go in for like regular tune-ups, so to speak. So probably after I have a couple sessions and get this under control, I'll probably book something like 6 months in advance. And if I don't need it, I can always cancel it. But then, yeah, that'll kind of make me stay on top of it instead of waiting until the pain gets bad, because yeah, I am bad for doing that. Well, it was kind of like, I grew up where it's like, you're not supposed to complain when you're in pain, and you're just supposed to sort of suck it up. And yeah, it's a bad habit that kind of carried on that I really need to work on breaking. Maybe that should be my New Year's resolution, huh? Taking better care of myself instead of toughing it out. Anyways, we'll see how long I can stitch before I get sore. Right now I'm doing okay, but yeah, when I work with only a few colors like here, that's when my last couple of sessions were a bit shorter, because I was doing so many stitches in an hour that I was getting sore and I couldn't stitch for a longer period. So, but I figured you guys would want to have a session even if it is a bit shorter. So, but yeah, my latest flare-up was so bad I was a little worried I was going to have to cancel today's session, but thankfully I am feeling a lot better. I was able to knit while I was, but not stitch. I guess the body position is different for some reason, so, but yeah. So I'm working on a baby blanket. I'm closing in on about halfway done, but unfortunately I think I'm going to run short of yarn. Yeah, well, I figured I used that yarn and 6 of it is good enough for a full-size blanket, so I figured 3 was enough for a baby blanket, but I guess this one is like more textured and so eats up more yarn. So yeah, and well, and the thing is too, because it's hearts sort of in a checkerboard pattern, you can't cut it off sort of in the middle of a repeat, right? It would look weird if you had like half of the hearts and not the top of the hearts. So yeah, and it's like a 30-something row lace pattern repeat. So yeah, like you can't do 15 and stop there. You kind of have to commit yourself to stopping at the end of one or at the end of the next one. So yeah, but it's coming along. Yeah, like I said, I don't really knit as much anymore. And I used to make a lot more clothing, which I don't really do now, but I've been knitting blankets more. But yeah, pretty frustrating to finish my session and I go to sit down to edit it and one of the video files just will not play. So, okay, grab another. Yeah, so speaking of being short of material, I was really worried about this this bright blue color being short, but I've been stitching further and it looks like I may just have enough, because I have some parked threads that I sort of haven't accounted that I can use those and get, you know, a few dozen more stitches out of the ones that are already parked and not used up yet. And so there's that. And then I also didn't sort of count on the fact that because most of the color is all in one big area, I don't have to use quite as much as when it's, you know, scattered about the pattern. So I may be able to get away with it. We will see. So I'm going to end up with more than one thread of this, several threads, I think, of this color because of the way it's sort of branching off. I can see that. Okay, so let's make sure I am stitching in the correct square, which is right here. Yes, okay. So I'm going to start right there and do that. Sort of stair step it that way. So I did make my necessary phone calls today. I made my appointment for acupuncture, and I did call and cancel that extra channel subscription. So yeah, like I said, I was really annoyed that you can start it through your TV. They won't let you end it that way. They force you to call in. So I won't be ordering via them again. That teed me off. So, but one nice thing is, at least they said my last billing cycle was started a few days ago, and so it will appear on this bill, but they said they're going to give me a credit for the unused portion, which will appear on the next bill. So woohoo. Because yeah, that was one thing with the Amazon Prime. If you forget and it renews for a whole year and you cancel it, it doesn't stop working until your end of your term, so you don't get any unused credit credited back to you. Because yeah, that happened to my sister-in-law. She missed it by a few days, canceled it, but it still stayed active until the rest of the year, and she did not get any refund. So yeah, it was a big pain. So yeah, I learned my lesson, and I made sure I canceled my Prime from renewing well in advance. So yeah, and then on my TV, I have to upgrade to new TV boxes, because apparently the old ones will stop working later this year. So, but at least that means then, because we're now using our streaming as Disney Plus, and right now I've been using my computer and having it plugged into the system, but then once those new ones arrive, we'll be able to control it via the remote, so I won't have to get up and walk across the room anymore. We're so lazy, right? Yeah, saying we were kids. Yeah, somebody was the designated channel changer, and you had to get up and turn the knob, right? Yeah, those old TVs that was built into the cabinet that everybody owned back then, right? Yeah. Actually, my parents' first TV was a little black and white TV. Yeah. They were married in 1980. Yeah. It was a tiny little, like the size of a shoebox, in black and white. Yeah, they had it for a long time, actually. Like, we had a color TV when I was growing up, but we had that one sort of as a secondary sometimes if somebody wanted to watch something else. It could hook up to a VCR, so yeah, it was wild. I was watching Murder, She Wrote the other day, and a lady was saying how the guy's kid had charged a VCR to her account, $400. Like, holy mackerel. Yeah, that's of course when they were like brand new technology. Oh. Yeah, just like I said, I remember when we got our first microwave, I think it was like 86 or 87, something like that. And like my parents had to like finance it because it was like $1,000. It's like, now you get a microwave for $50, right? Oh. Yeah, how things change. But yeah, so I did catch up on my Murder, She Wrote backlog. I have to watch all the shows I have recorded because they said they don't automatically, they're self-contained and they won't switch over to the new one. So, yeah. And I've got to write down all my programming for recording because that doesn't switch over either, which, yeah, kind of sucks. I'm going to have to reprogram in everything. But, actually, hang on a minute. Yeah, I won't complain too hard because we had this one since 2019. It was pre-pandemic, and or the before times, as some people call them. And yeah, so I mean, it's had a good run. Coming on to 5 years, and it still works pretty well. So yeah, I won't complain because before that we were going with satellite, and their machines sucked. for one thing, you could only record one thing at a time. So if things were conflicting, too bad, so sad. Pick which one to record, that's it. And this one you can record like 5 things at the same time, so no need to worry about conflicting stuff. And then after you'd had this thing like maybe a year, it would start acting up, and it would randomly not record stuff that you had programmed in to record, even though it did show that night, so it should have, and it just randomly wouldn't. And it would randomly delete stuff before you had a chance to watch it, and it would crash mid-recording, and yeah, it was garbage. So we finally left them, and they kind of asked why, and I said the annoying thing too was they kept charging us more and more for the service. Like every couple of months the price would go up, and I'm like, we've been with you guys for like 14 years, like shouldn't we be getting a deal for being a loyal customer instead of you guys keep gouging us? So yeah, they asked why, and I'm like, well, the one we're with now is giving us better equipment and a better, you know, better service and more channels and more recording for cheaper than you guys are paying. So why on earth will we stay with you? Yeah. You guys got to keep up with the times. Like, of course, this stuff has crashed a few times, but like it's maybe crashed like half a dozen times in the last 5 years. So yeah, it's way better than the other one, which was like at least every month it was crashing, sometimes more when you got to the end. And oh, it was a big pain because when they sent you a new one, they would charge you for it, but then they would credit you back, but then they would take forever to credit you back. So then you'd end up paying more GST. I argued with the guy one time because I'm like, well, you guys said not to pay it, that you would credit me. And he's like, well, the GST. I'm like, okay, but because you guys are dragging your butts, taking time, your sweet time crediting me, I should pay more? You know, oh, yeah, oh, dude. Like, so, yeah. Okay, so this one's not very long, so I'm just going to carry it. I'm going to cross a little bit as I go, sort of, to end up with my thread down at the bottom of this section that I've highlighted. So yeah, my diagonal is getting very steep here. That's okay. And like I said, it's kind of going the other way too because I'm following the colors there. So working across a wider area rather than just a strict 10 stitch wide diagonal. You can, of course, decide to go stricter if you want. It's totally up to you. And in some of my previous, what you might call it, tutorials, I've shown where I have gone a bit more strict than I do now. Yeah, so we're finally getting some winter weather here. It is close to -30 with the wind chill today. Still not as cold as we usually get in January. Like last year, it came up in my Facebook memories that it was like -53 with the wind chills. So yeah, I'm glad it's not that cold, but we still don't have a lot of snow. We have a little bit. Just barely enough that you sort of had to clear your walkway, but not really beyond that. And there's been a couple layers of the freezing fog on things, so it like forms little ice crystals on everything. It's actually very pretty. And yeah, like sort of every needle, every branch on the tree gets outlined in this ice, and it looks really nice. Yeah, so that means having to take kiddo to school for the next while because his truck is a diesel and it is too cold for it to start. And my husband is out of town, and there's no place to plug in the my car, the block heater at school. And yeah, there's a concern that if he's at school all day, it would get cold enough that it would freeze and wouldn't start. And if my husband's not here, then getting someone to give us a jump would be a big pain, right? So yeah. Plus, I mean, there is times I need my car too, so. Okay. Yeah, this area just kind of keeps spreading a bit more. Actually, let me see. This thread here, I may travel it the other way or not. We'll see. It's not terribly long, so I may just end it off before starting another. So yeah, like I said, I'm kind of working across almost 4 columns here at once. That's just sort of what makes sense to me right now. Ooh. Do not want to stitch my hair into the piece. Oh, my gosh. Pierced my fabric there. That is no good. Yeah, when our guinea pig was still alive, I had to keep tweezers to pull her hair out of her fur out of the my work. It would get really stitched in there. Piece is looking funny, so I'm just going to go back down that hole rather than up it. Yeah, she's been gone for coming on to a year now, but it's funny. I still sometimes come out into the living room expecting her to start squeaking at me, wanting her morning lettuce. Yeah, and then of course, even bigger loss, we lost my husband's mother last year. I said, I think the worst part is that, you know, you have moments where you forget that they're gone and you want to tell them something or whatever, and then you have to remember, oh, right, I can't anymore, right? That's the hardest part, I think. Because, like, yeah, my son finally put on, we got him a bunch of new onesie pajamas for Christmas, and he finally wore the Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and it was so cute. So I took a picture, and I was thinking, oh, I should text this to his grandma. She'll love it. And then, oh, I can't. She's no longer with us, right? Like, oh. Yeah, it sucks to get hit with that all over again, right? Because, yeah, it wasn't very long ago that we lost her, just a couple of months. Still doesn't feel real because, like I said, yeah, it was fairly unexpected. They went from saying that she probably had another 5 years with treatments to, you guys better get here to say goodbye because, you know, she's got days left. Yeah, and thankfully we were able to get there to see her before she passed, and she did recognize us and was really glad to see us. So yeah, I'm really glad we were able to do that at least. Yeah, I was actually thinking I was going to maybe gift her one of these cross-stitch pieces when I was done. Unfortunately, that can't happen now. Ooh. Oh, okay. Again, I can see where this is going to branch off and have separate threads. We are closing in on 87,000 completed. Yeah, we're at 86,898. After this, there'll only be 100 stitches left until we reach the 89,000 mark. So I'll try to stitch until there today. Like I said, it all depends on how sore I feel. Yeah, my neck was really cricked the last couple days. Thankfully, it's just sore now, but it was not good. Yeah, I'm just glad I found something that helped. I was amazed after, I think it was my very first acupuncture treatment. I sort of reached up and touched the muscle in my neck that's usually rock hard no matter what I do, and it was like relaxed, and I was like, I don't think I felt it like that in years. I started having problems with my neck when I was like 8. And yeah, I don't think that muscle has ever been relaxed since. Ugh. Okay, actually, I think I can work sort of in 2 directions with this thread. So I did this one. I'm gonna go out like this. Yeah, this way I don't have to add another one just yet. So yeah, like I say, I usually start from my right-hand side in, but sometimes it makes sense to work from the left hand out. Stitch that there, and then, or park that there, I should say. So yeah, just kind of working sort of back and forth along this edge. Trying to mostly avoid closing stuff in, of course, because I'm slanting it out the other way, there will still be some. That's just unavoidable. An end there. So yeah, I think this is sort of where I'll make my cutoff for the moment. I'll work out and then come back down here, work out again. So yes, sometimes I work sort of in more skinny slices coming downwards, and sometimes I work across a bit more horizontally. But eventually it all gets filled in. Threads and sort of, yeah, just pull them out of my way for now because I won't be working with them at the moment. Kind of could keep stitching with the same thread, but I'm kind of forcing myself to change colors back and forth a bit more to, like I say, give myself those built-in breaks so that I don't get sore. I'll have to take a break to have some food soon. Yeah, I bought myself some English muffins, so I like making myself my own kind of egg McMuffin at home. Although I fry it with the yolk still runny, so it's kind of messy, but I prefer it that way. Yeah. I have to make sure I eat it over my plate and then eat up the spilled yolk with a spoon, but I still prefer that to being hard fried. So yeah, I remember the first time I bought English muffins when my kid was little. He wanted to eat one. I'm like, well, you're supposed to toast it. And he just wanted to eat it like straight out of the package. I'm like, you're not gonna like it. And he insists he wants it, so he takes one bite. It's like, oh yuck. I'm like, yeah, that's what I tried to tell you, dude. They're meant to be toasted. They're way too doughy and not, at least definitely not to my taste, when they're not toasted. It was funny. They said, you know, who came up with the idea of toasting bread? Like, who had it and thought, you know what? It's already cooked, but let's cook it again. Oh. Very long, but I can still get a few more stitches out of that thread, so I will just park it for now. I think this one I'm going to carry back up. Yeah. I will be having to add another. Let's see. We do have a thread parked up here, but yeah, it's not very long. So let's see. park it right here under this navy blue bit. And then, yeah, it can do a few more stitches there. So I'm going to stitch with this one. Oh, look at that. I brought that one up in the wrong place. Don't know why I keep piercing the fabric in the wrong spot today. My aim is off. Okay, I think that, yes, I'm going to carry that other strand up here and cross it with those. Then I don't have to add or have two for the moment. All right, so I'm not going to mark that done just yet because I'm going to do these here. Let's try not to pierce the fabric in the wrong place again. Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned my husband got a 3D printer. So yeah, I think this is one of the first days since he got it that it hasn't been running, printing something. Yeah. But yeah, somebody already paid him to print a replacement something for them. So yeah, it's a bit of a learning curve because you have to go sort of in the, find the right balance between speed and density and all that to make sure things work. Because yeah, he tried one where he tried to print it too fast and he's like, it just ended up looking like a pile of noodles. It did not work. So yeah, but yeah, that's why you practice on some little bits and bobs first and see before you work on the big pieces. Yeah, make your mistakes on the small stuff before you make it on the big stuff, hopefully. Like, yeah, I mount my cross stitch as wall hangings with fabric, and I definitely took some scrap pieces of Aida, and I went and just bought some remnant bits from the fabric store, and I experimented with those until I got it exactly what I wanted before. Yeah, because before you do work on a piece that you spent, you know, thousands of hours on, make sure you know exactly what you're doing. You do not want to mess that up. Get a couple more half stitches out of that, so there we go. Why? I have two legs there. For some reason, yeah, coverage in that one spot is not so good. Happens sometimes. However, I find once I wash the piece, the threads do fluff up a bit and sort of fill that in. If not, then sometimes I will take another thread and just sort of do a little fudge stitch there to fill in any white that's showing. But I don't mind if there's a little bit showing. Yeah, I know some people like to stitch with a ton of threads so that absolutely no fabric shows through, but I don't like when it's too thick. I find it too hard to push the needle through, and then I don't enjoy stitching anymore. I mean, to each their own. I don't think there's a wrong way. It's your project, so you're the one who has to be satisfied with how it looks when it's done. Oh, oops, I meant to park that there. Yeah, what the double tap does on this depends on if you're in markup mode or move mode. If you're in move, it just selects or deselects. If you're in markup, then it marks as done or parks or whatever, depending on how you set it up. So yeah, like I said, this is the color. I was a little worried I was going to be short with how much thread I have left, but I think I may actually be okay. Yeah, since this color is mostly in big blocks rather than scattered around, there's a lot less sort of thread lost from stopping and starting. You can use each piece sort of to its maximum more easily when it's a big block. Oh yeah, we should pass 87,000 total, no problem. Like I said, I don't make any long-term predictions anymore because they were just like what I'll manage for the month, because they were just stressing me out. So I only make short little ones like, yeah, I'll make 400 stitches today when I'm at like 356, yeah. Yeah, so I was doing the math saying that if I can do each pass in about 3 months, then I'll be done in under another 2 years. But it all kind of depends because, of course, like I said, this pass will go a little faster than, say, one further down where there's a lot fewer bigger blocks and more confetti. So yeah, we're gonna get to his tail feathers soon. Probably not this month, but next month. Because yeah, there's sort of a bit of his wing and then his tail feathers. So I am very excited to get to that part. And that will obviously be more confetti. So yeah, there we are. We passed 87,000 total stitches. Yeah, it was funny. One time I posted that and somebody's like, you did 87,000 stitches today? I'm like, no, I reached a total of 87,000 done. Like, yeah, I wish I could do that many stitches in a day. Could you imagine how many projects I could get done? That would be amazing. Yeah. I think the most I managed in one day was around 1,200. And that was because, yeah, I basically did nothing else. Well, I had a friend over who also stitches, so we just sat on the couch stitching and talking, and I ordered pizza for dinner so we didn't have to cook, and yeah, so that is basically all we did. We both got a ton of stitching done, so. Twist it up. Yeah. Switch colors for a bit. No. See, that leg is wonky. I didn't go back down in the right place. And I could feel there was a bit more resistance on my needle when I pulled it through the fabric. Yeah. That's better. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't go through the pre-made hole, obviously it's going to have a bit more friction there than it should. Okay, so like I said, I think I'm gonna have to take a break soon because I'm gonna get sore if I don't. So yeah, like I said, and plus I already did an entire stitching session this morning and then had to do another because a file got corrupted and it was unusable, but I still wanted to make a session for you guys today, so. unfortunately, sometimes that just happens. Things do not want to cooperate. So yeah, once we get sort of out of this area where it's all just a few colors, my stitching sessions will probably be longer with you all. Because yeah, all the stopping to take breaks to change colors means I don't get sore so quickly. All right, so yeah, I think that is where I'm going to call it a day because my neck is starting to complain at me and I need to move around for a bit so that it stops. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today and I hope to see you here next time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.